and welcome back to NAB 2026. We're here in the AWS booth. Really excited because I get to talk to one of the customers, kind of the flagship customer for this event. I got Ricardo here, who's the Senior Director of Production for Digital.
Yes, Fox Sports Digital. Yeah.
Fox Sports Digital. Really appreciate you coming on board and talking about this. You were, Fox Corporation had an announcement out this week where they talked about how you guys really looked at how you could improve on things as you moved forward out of like the FIFA 2022 and going forward with live events, especially on the sports side, but across the corporation. Kind of talk to how Elemental Inference plays a role in where you're going and how that relationship has really blossomed.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think my relationship with AWS really started in the pandemic. It started in 2020, and I built like a control room totally out of my garage in Santa Monica. And our AWS representative at the time, he came over and obviously just dropped a Pelican case on my front door, and it was the first little AWS Elemental Link, the little yellow box, the original one, right? And with that, we ended up streaming 800 hours of live broadcast content through the garage, and I feel like that's really what changed, and that was really the birth of a Fox Sports Digital and AWS relationship that now, has blossomed into something that's now Elemental Inference, which is reformatting live 16:9 content to 9:16, which that was really, again, this is what's so great about this partnership is that, there's so much FaceTime between the AWS side and the Fox side. So they come and visit me all the time. And this was during the Euros Copa tournament in 2024. And they saw that I had built this vertical control room, right? That was being staffed with a TD director and a producer and a graphics person, et cetera. And someone took that idea and was like, well, what if we could help Rick and kind of automate a lot of this? Because they were seeing the live struggle of trying to keep action in a 9:16 frame. If we could help on that, then it frees up his staff to actually think more creatively about how they can, take advantage of vertical. And so they took that idea, entered a hackathon with it. 48 hours later, it wins the hackathon, and then a week later, they're showing me the very, very first instance of Inference, which back in the day was called Starfish, which I still, I have an affinity for that name. But then, 2 years later, here we are, we're announcing it at NAB, and after weekly meetings with the Fox Sports Digital team, using a video created by social video producers for the model to learn from, and now you have something that, low latency, seamlessly, and I think it's for me, I think it's the best one on the market when it comes to converting horizontal to vertical, because a lot of it's going beyond just the ball tracking, right? It's going beyond just the player tracking. It's actually mimicking camera movement that you would see during a game. So it's doing things like ramping up, ramping down. It's not, because this will just make your audience sick, right? So it actually has to act like a camera in a 16:9 environment. So that's what makes it so exciting for someone like me.
Yeah, so it has applicability across Fox, not just on the sports side as well. So
yes,
that can help as well when you're talking about things that are moments that are talking moments or action moments away from the ball.
Because at this point, we have to meet our audience where they are, right? And so that's what AWS has always allowed us to do with our media stack, everything from Media Live, Media Connect, Media Package, and now with Elemental Inference, we're able to hit our audience in every corner of social media. So whether that's TikTok, X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then obviously there's Fox O&O. So now you're looking at, the new Fox One app, right? Which again, vertical is playing a big role there. The Fox Sports app, again, vertical playing a big role. So, but we're obviously using Inference and the social media and the AWS tools to bring an audience to those Fox O&O environments.
And this must really help, and I kind of half jokingly call it the ROAI, the return on AI that you get, because the fact that you're really going down this must help the production teams be much more, help the social media teams and
Absolutely.
all of that be more efficient.
Well, I think too, especially for Fox Sports Digital, we have so many like young employees, but now I get to tell these young employees, like even though they're potentially entry level, well, you guys are coming in as managers. And the managers now, instead of their people, they're agents, they're AI agents, right? So you may have like a team of six AI agents now that you get to do what you want to do with them, and maybe they're doing tasks that free you up to actually be more creative and flex like that side of your brain and bring more creativity to your job. Like that to me, it's like, you're talking about like the ROAI. I think the ROAI, like the true ROAI, like beyond monetization, is actually creativity, because it allows people that maybe didn't have time to flex that part of their brain, now they have time to do it.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that as a big user of it for that. I mean, I think that having that, I call them agents. Instead of agents, I call them buddies. I have my little
yeah, you have like
AI
your gang.
buddies.
You have like your AI,
exactly, that help me get things done during the week that otherwise you just can't tackle. As you kind of look at this over time, and again, it was great. Starting in the garage. I mean, that's such a Silicon Valley, even though it's Santa Monica, which much nicer. And
maybe a little nicer,
little beachy, again, good pier too. But when you start to look at it, how do you see this as you go forward, helping you, this relationship, helping you enable that?
Yeah, I think all of us have probably had like a boss or somebody tell us like, oh, you got to get into AI, right? And that's like, that can seem daunting, right? That can seem like, oh my gosh, like what does that even mean? So for me and for like content creation and content production, I really take it into 3 buckets. The first is content creation, so that's like, I have nothing and then I'm going to use a model to actually create something from nothing, whether that's an image or a video, like, and I'm using AI to build what just didn't exist, right? So that's like the first bucket. The second bucket, content enhancement. That's something like Inference, right? I'm now enhancing the content from 16:9 to 9:16 so that it's more accessible to a wider audience for all these platforms that are more vertically forward, right? And then the third bucket is content understanding. And that's another tool that I'm working with AWS on, where we are trying to truly like understand our audience. We're trying to understand them in real time, as they are reacting to not just our content, but to the games that are being played. So for instance, when we talk about the World Cup that's going to be happening, real-time sentiment analysis across the entire social media sphere, but then that data is being enriched by several different agentic models that then we can tell more cohesive stories, and we can do predictive trending analysis, and we can even tell when potentially strong moments are going to fizzle quickly, or they're going to be ongoing. And then now, okay, how much focus do I give a social media producer on that piece? Does that now a segment in a post-game show? Like, there's all these little pieces that now we can, because we understand our audience better, we can better serve them as a media, partner.
Yeah, so more custom content that helps really drive that in. So, hey, I just want to say this has been great. I really appreciate you coming on board. And hopefully you get your voice back and everything else over. I know you've been very busy, and I really appreciate you spending some time with us.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you for watching. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned from NAB 2026.